Hello everyone, it's Matthew Bourne here to introduce pieces from my company New Adventures. The screening is of one of my very favourite pieces, Cinderella. It's a very special piece for me, it has a special place in my heart, and I wanted to tell you why. When I'm looking to create a piece, I'm looking for something that I call the big idea. And that big idea is something that's going to make the piece different to the way it's known already. I guess Cinderella is a story that everyone knows very well, or feels they know very well. But there are many different versions of it. Each culture has its own version, several versions, in fact, in each culture, possibly. Some people know the Disney movie, some people know the ballet, but they're all different. So in my research for looking at doing this production, I was reading about Prokofiev, who wrote this incredible score, and he wrote it in the manner of the great ballets of Tchaikovsky, such as Sleeping Beauty or Nutcracker, to be a fairy tale ballet. But I read that he'd written it during the Second World War, and it was then premiered at the Bolshoi in 1946, I think. And I thought, I wonder if that's in the music, if I can hear that sense of that time in the music. So I listened to it with those ears and with the images of the Second World War in my head, and it really came alive in a new way. I felt I could hear the sounds of the time. I was thinking of the London Blitz, and I could always hear the bombs dropping in the music, and this sense of hope and escapism that came in the music. So it was very, very relevant to the way people were feeling at that time, the needs of people at that time. And that's where the idea came to set the piece during the London Blitz, which is around 1940, 1941. Now, the other thing, the reason it is close to my heart is my parents were both young children at this time in London during the Blitz, in East London, along with my both sets of grandparents who lived just a couple of streets away from each other. And so I have great family history at this time, and my parents used to tell me stories about being young at that time and being pretty fearless, actually. And it was just a normality for them, you know. So it was an extraordinary time to have lived through that. Anyway, this really inspired me, and to the point where even some of the characters in the ballet are named after my grandparents. So I felt that it was a piece that I could do something different with. And there are a few things that I wanted to point out to you that may help, especially if there are any young people watching who know their Cinderella and know a version of it that they're familiar with. There's some differences in this version. For a start, Cinderella, who normally has a stepmother, which we have, of course, she normally has the two sisters, sometimes known as the ugly sisters. They're not so ugly in this version, but they're there. But also she has three stepbrothers. So she has this much bigger family to deal with. Also, she has, as you will remember from the original story, she has a fairy godmother. In this version, it's a fairy godfather, like a guardian angel. He's actually called the angel. And he is an angel of fate in some ways. He holds the fate of London even in his hands. And he guides Cinderella through this journey that she must go on to find her fate. The other little clue I can give you to the story, Cinderella herself is a dreamer. She loves movies. She goes to the movies a lot, as a lot of young women and men did in those days, to escape from the horrors that were around them. So she's a girl with a great imagination. So sometimes in this story, we are going into the world of her dreams and her hopes and a different kind of reality. So you will see the story unfold in a different way. But fear not, there is a happy ending, as in all good fairy tales. You'll see they do live happily ever after, but it is a story. One of the things I love about it the most is a story about real people in times of hardship, coming through and finding each other, finding love. Love is one of the most important themes of the piece, but it's something you have to fight for. I'm not going to point out any particular people in the cast, but I just wanted to say that here is a cast of New Adventures dancers who I'm so proud of. They are not only great dancers, which they have to be in this company. They have to be world-class dancers, but they're also brilliant actors. And in every role in this piece, there are lots of characters in this piece. I think you'll agree, it's a very unusual thing for a dance company to have acting at the level that you get in this piece, and not just the romantic leads, but also all the character roles and the comedy characters that you meet along the way. And there's lots of multitasking in this piece where people play many roles. So I hope you'll enjoy that aspect of it as well, and celebrate the dancers of New Adventures. And I think they do an incredible job in this piece in particular. It's a very magical piece, and I hope that you have a wonderful evening watching it. I look forward to seeing you next time. Sending love from London, and stay safe, everyone.